We watched parents so upset because there was such sexually explicit material in the library.
I decided to check the titles at my child's school. Both of these books include pedophilia, graphically describes engaging in fellatio with male minors.
You vetoed the bill that would have informed parents that they were there.
Yeah, I stopped the bill that I don't think parents should be telling schools what they should teach. I don't think parents should be telling schools what they should teach.
I'm Glenn Youngkin, candidate for governor, and I sponsored this ad.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Grumpy Snail podcast here at SOB Stews with your host, me, the uncancelable, as always, Jonathan Snyder, here again with another podcast. The drink today is strong. Today we are drinking a little bit of Booker's bourbon, and I haven't had it in a while. Booker's Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey, distilled and bottled by James Beam Distilling Company, Claremont, Kentucky. It's only 64%. Yeah, it is some definitely strong high dollar stuff. Before we get started with whatever we're going to do today, make sure you click that like button, click the subscribe button, click the share button, click all the buttons. Make sure you share this video on all your social media, or don't do any of that. It doesn't matter either way. Just make sure you watch. We're here every day. And by every day, I mean Sunday. And by Sunday, I mean at 12 p.m. on Sunday. So when I post these video podcasts, and I know I always start with these, but I mean, you never know. Somebody might watch this and by accident. I mean, if you bombard the internet with a bunch of videos, at least one of them might pop up somewhere, right? And then somebody can watch it. But, yeah, so we've got to say this on every video so that people know. Even though the people watching every weekend are going to know. There's a video, like 4 or 5 videos back, I'm not sure which podcast it was, but it says 0 views on it. It said nobody watched it. I watch at least every single video. And I know that counts as a view. And I know that there are like 2 or 3 people that watch every video. So there's at least like 4 views. So I know that the system's not working. But I mean, I'm still gonna post the videos. But yeah, things are changing. If you haven't noticed already, I've already cut out the second camera. I'm not gonna do that anymore. I've already cut out my whole entire audio. We're just going through the camera. We're just going through the camera now. I'm going to start taking down, because I set up lights and stuff. I'm going to start taking those down. And we'll see how long this podcast lasts. I'm transitioning from this to something new. Something new that hopefully will work out for me. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I mean, you never know. You never know with the way things are going, what's going to happen from day to day. At some point, there might be no videos ever, because you can't do them. YouTube put out their notice this week. They're going to cut down everything that's vaccine related, whether it be COVID vaccine or any vaccine. Anything that they call a vaccine. FYI on vaccine. Remember that polio vaccine? I learned this week, because polio was so bad. I mean, like 20% of children was getting polio or something. It was bad. Polio was bad. So they released the vaccine, and they spent years. They spent years working on that vaccine. That particular vaccine itself, I know they talk about how that they've been working on the COVID vaccine for 10 years or so. That's they were working on technology. They've only been working on the COVID vaccine itself for 8 months or whatever. But that's the great thing about that mRNA technology is that once you have the technology, which they've been working on for years, then you can adapt, because it's a whole different like vaccine system. So you can just adapt all these other vaccines toward that technology. You could probably do it. You could probably like switch the influenza over to mRNA. You could probably switch all these to mRNA, I guess. I don't know. I'm not a virologist. I just am someone who can read. But I learned today that the polio vaccine, it took, I think he said 6 years after it was released to get, I think, above 50% of the population vaccinated for polio. So, that's insane. You want to talk about warp speed? The COVID vaccine was definitely warp speed, considering how fast they got it, how many people got it. Because if it weren't for the Johnson & Johnson pause and for the push that the enforcement that you have to take this, we'd probably be up to 80% by now. But there's been a slowdown. So the speed at which this has gone has just been tremendous. So I think that's a positive for the whole government system, because usually it runs slow, like immensely slow, which it was designed to do. It's designed to go slow because when things go bad, they can go bad really fast. And if you didn't already know that, you've certainly have figured that out now. Got some condensation going on here. What the heck? There's something in my drink. Anyway, yeah, so no vaccine talk. I really don't need to talk about it. So hopefully the itty bitty stuff that I've done so far in this past couple minutes won't do anything to the video. I think at this point we're beyond talking about it. I don't understand why there's no accountability for anything anymore. Because it used to be, if you did something wrong, then somebody who was responsible took responsibility, and then there was consequences. Now the only consequences are, hey, you said something you shouldn't have said, and now you're not going to be allowed to either have a job or post a video on the internet. Used to be, if you did something wrong, you were resigned, you were terminated, but now none of that's happening. You can see that with the military. The generals, were interrogated by Congress this past week, and so basically you have the general saying one story, the president said another story. So one of them, either one of them are lying or both of them are lying, because both of them can't be telling the truth. They're conflicting stories. So, Biden keeps coming out and saying he's responsible for this, he's responsible for that. He made these are his decisions, but there's no consequences for anything. take the border situation, for example. So all these Haitian people come over. In this one instance, I mean, we're talking one instance. We're not talking about like all the people that have come through the rest of the border and all the people rushing the border because, you know, once we had this concentrated situation in Del Rio, the whole entire country centered on that situation. And that left the rest of the border open to whatever. So what's happened throughout the border that's not Del Rio, we may never know until a building comes down. But, so there was the situation with the border agents and the horse and the whipping and all that stuff. And what were the consequences? First of all, it was a fake story. We know it was a fake story because once the media pushed that this border agent was whipping people, the cameraman that took the picture of the border agent whipping these people said that there was no border agent whipping people. So it was a lie that was pushed by the media. The people were, you know, the border agents were condemned. They were, you know, were kicked off duty. They took all their horses, which, you know, horse is the best tool to use in certain parts of the border, considering some of the terrain is not traversable. There's probably a better word than that, but some of the terrain cannot be, you know, you can't drive over it with a vehicle, so horses are the best mode of transportation, which is why they used them. And, you know, Biden, along with Kamala and all the other people in the administration, came out, said, you know, these people are going to pay for, you know, for doing their job. And who pays for creating the situation? Nobody. The administration is responsible for the situation at the border. Now, they didn't completely create the situation at the border. We've just spent years and decades causing the situation we have at the southern border. But the responsibility from the previous administrations have been transferred to this one. So now this current administration is responsible for everything that happens. So who's taking responsibility? Nobody. Biden's not doing it. Kamala, who's been put in charge of the whole thing, is not. The Secretary Mayorkas, I think is his name. They're saying now, as long as you're not committing a crime, there's no reason to be deported, even though pretty sure that illegal immigration is a federal crime. So, I mean, it's whatever. So, really what needs to happen is responsibility for everything needs to be transferred back to the states, because at this point it seems like nobody's taking accountability at the federal level. They just aren't. The generals, you know, are either lying or, you know, telling stories, doing things they're not supposed to. These people aren't resigning. They aren't being fired. There basically isn't any accountability, whether it be, you know, foreign policy, border immigration, the economy, which we'll get to in a moment. Just, I'm sure there's other things. There's been appointees this week. Biden has appointed an eco-terrorist to head the BLM, which is the Business Land Management Bureau, because, you know, there's got to be a billion three-letter agencies at the federal level for some reason. So there's that. If you think I'm just name calling or labeling or whatever, go look this stuff up. The comptroller, I believe, that Biden appointed is a some crazy USSR Soviet nut job lady who, you know, was born in the USSR, educated over there, grew up, is completely communist. Which, I mean, a lot of conservative people like to throw communist around like it carries the same weight as Nazi or something. I mean, it's not. I feel like communism kind of carries the same connotation as like a libertarian. It's just a different system. A system which I think is terrible because inevitably everybody is poor and starving, and the government just takes everything. So at low levels, communism works. I think you start in a community, it's communism, and build it out, and at some point it gets too big. You know, like the big banks that were too big to fail. At some point it gets too big where it's not sustainable. You know, the whole libertarian anarchical side has its own issues as well. But while there's all these socialists and communists and type people, capitalists in administration, and whether it be, you know, the executive branch or the legislation branch, I don't see very many libertarians there. So where's that representation in the government? It's not there. I mean, part of the reason is because libertarians don't believe that they should be telling people how to live, what to do. So it's kind of battle against themselves. But yeah, there's no. I mean, it's this comptroller appointee was so bad that Janet Yellen, who's part of this crazy administration, said this is not good. This is not good at all. I mean, the woman wants to like get rid of banks and stuff. So, I mean, we're not talking about the bank, the bad bank, the Federal Reserve Bank. That's the bad one. We're talking about like your community bank. That one, that little bank that, you know, that's a member of the community and is you know, the people that you know work there. It benefits the community to have this business. That's what it wants. That's what they want to get rid of. So, I mean, I do not understand why people think these things are good. I guess you just have to like see the bad before you believe it, which you're going to. There's been warnings that the supply chain is collapsing, and it is. It just is. The people who say it's not, or that it'll be okay, it'll just be it's just a temporary thing. It's not telling you the truth. What you're seeing now is the beginning. If you're seeing bare shelves now, it's just going to get worse. We haven't even. I mean, this is like backdraft stuff. This is stuff that was put into place. It's kind of like the COVID wave. It's like all the rural areas that are getting this, that have been in this huge wave the last 4 to 8 weeks, you know, it was already set into motion. This is something that's going to happen. Just like Australia. Australia thinks that they can just lock people into their homes for the rest of their lives. And I mean, they're going to try. They're obviously trying. They're doing it. But this COVID thing is endemic, and it's not going to go anywhere. So you can continue to lock people in their homes every time that there's a case, single case, but you're going to do it. You're going to live it like this for the rest of your life and the rest of your kids' lives and their kids' lives as well. And if that's what you want, that's what you're going to get. And it's the same here. If you're going to allow the current administration to do the things that they're doing and push things in the direction that it's going to go there. And there's nothing you can do about it. And so the shortages that we're going to see come this fall, this winter, and into next year is going to be really bad. There's nothing you can do about it except try to survive what's coming. There's just going to, I mean, there's not much I can say about it. I look online and I see stuff like this. Did you see this this ad attacking Ron Desantis? I'll show you it. If you haven't already seen it, I'm sure that anybody watching this video has seen it. But if you haven't, here it is.
Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of your cabin crew, we'd like to inform you that we have officially entered Florida airspace. Now that we're making our final descent, please watch this short message from Governor Ron Desantis on COVID-19. Thereafter, everyone on board will be required to comply with the state's Forever Purge.
We are not doing any vaccine passports in the state of Florida. We trust people to make their own decisions in this state. We are not going to be bludgeoning people with restrictions and mandates and lockdowns or any of that stuff.
As Governor DeSantis stated, while you're within state lines, you do not have to wear a mask. You do not have to get a vaccine. It is against the law for private businesses or schools to mandate masks or vaccines. And you have the absolute right to infect whoever you want, whenever, and wherever with COVID-19. Thank you for traveling with us, and please, enjoy your Forever Purge.
COVID-19 is surging again.
This is the time to double down.
The governor is doubling down. He says students shouldn't be forced to wear masks.
If you are trying to lock people down, I'm going to stand in your way.
Florida just requested 300 new ventilators.
Hospitals are filling up here.
There is evidence that children are making up much higher cases that are emerging.
The numbers continue to rise across Florida.
This fall, don't breathe in.
This is insane.
The Forever Purge, coming to a theater and live streaming networks near you.
So it's just ridiculous. I mean, they're like bad Ron DeSantis. What are you gonna do when there's no food? What are you gonna do when there's no gas? What are you gonna do when you can't work because you work at a factory and the factory can't get parts to do anything? I mean, forget this labor shortage where people aren't working these jobs. Forget that. What are you going to do when they don't have supplies to service you? Are you gonna just point at unvaxxed people and say it's their fault? Because it's not. It won't be. Unvaxxed people didn't fire nurses. Unvaxxed people didn't fire truck drivers. Unvaxxed people didn't fire teachers. You talk about mandates, but when the NBA doesn't have to do mandates, when all the government are, don't have to do them, don't have to abide by them, when the post office doesn't have to abide by them, the people delivering your mail doesn't have to abide by them. Teacher unions are now saying that mandates are unconstitutional. So let's say teacher unions get their way and now teachers don't have to abide by them. And so basically all of government agencies don't have to abide by mandates that the government agencies are instituting. And you point at stuff like Desantis. Yeah, Desantis is pushing, I believe, unconstitutional laws. And yeah, Texas is instituting this anti-abortion thing that I'm against. But I mean, you have to. Of course they feel they have to have an opposite reaction to what they're getting pushed with. And now the other side's doing the same thing. It's like two people, two crazy people that are fighting, and everybody that's just trying to mind their own business and go to work and pay their bills are caught in the middle. And these shortages are really gonna test, because this isn't the Soviet Union, this isn't Venezuela, this isn't Australia, this is America. And when you get to that 40%, people, that 40% line, 40% of people can't feed themselves, then you end up having a French-style revolution. So, I guess we'll see, because it's coming, and there's nothing you're going to be able to do about it. So I'm, going to transition from these podcasts. I might still do them for a couple weekends here. But I'm gonna get away from, try to get back into my music stuff. And I've got plenty of stuff around the house I've got to fix. So, you know what that means. Now that the heat of summer is gone, there's definitely going to be more Potomac Highlander videos coming. Hopefully next weekend, maybe. I can start getting those videos together. So I still want to do my one video a week. I still want to keep that going. If I can keep that going for another couple months, I will finally have kept the New Year's resolution, which I don't think I've ever done before. So it'll be exciting if I can do that. But besides that, we're just gonna keep doing what we can do. Like I said, things are gonna be real difficult. Things are gonna get real difficult, and we'll make do with what we can. But I mean, besides that, I hope you all have a great and fantastic week next week. There'll definitely be another video. If not a podcast, there'll be another video here next weekend. Same time, same place. Right here, SOB Studios. 12 p.m. So, until next time, God bless you, ladies and gentlemen. Good night, and Godspeed.